Ball's hit to the shortstop. Rojas throws it over to first base, and that's not going to be enough. That's an infield single by Contreras.
Rojas does not play shortstop.
Nola's on the mound tonight, and his red Skechers he's wearing. Turner, my bad. We're in the bottom of the fourth. We got a score of 1-0 to the Phillies. Runner on first, no outs. This brings on. It might have been the second batter. I'm not sure. And that brings us to the top of the fifth, with the Phillies leading 1-0. We'll be back in a minute with 30 seconds.
What happens when a rookie takes the WNBA by storm? Drama, apparently. Sheryl Swoopes just dropped a bomb saying players don't want to team up with Caitlin Clark. But is there any truth to it? Let's break it down. So, get this. Caitlin Clark's teammate Lexie posted a TikTok video that's blowing up right now. In it, Clark's doing play-by-play for a Brewers-Phillies game, and it's hilarious. She's cracking jokes, making funny comments. The whole 9 yards. People are loving it. You know what's even crazier? The MLB saw the video and said they'd invite Clark to the booth if it hit 22,000 likes. Clark was all for it, saying she'd be honored. It's like she's already planning her post-basketball career.
A chopper right down the first baseline. Harper fields it, and that's an out.
Hey, Caitlin, what's going on? Tom McCarthy, TV voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. Great job the other day with that description. Any downtime you have, you're up in the booth whenever you want. Rick Connor, too. He likes the red.
But hold on, this feel-good story is about to take a wild turn. You won't believe who's stirring up trouble for Clark. It's not just fun and games anymore. Things are about to get real intense. Just when Clark thought she was riding high, a curveball came out of left field. A WNBA icon dropped a bombshell that's got everyone talking. What could possibly make players hesitate to team up with the rising star? Enter Sheryl Swoopes, a legend in women's basketball. She's not just any player. We're talking about a 3-time WNBA MVP and 4-time champion. When Swoopes speaks, people listen, and boy, did she have something to say about Caitlin Clark. Swoopes claimed that WNBA players aren't exactly lining up to play with Clark. Why? According to her, it's all about the drama. She said, there is not a conversation within the WNBA players that pick Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese against one another. That's a pretty bold statement coming from someone with her credentials. But here's the thing, Swoopes' comments didn't exactly land well. In fact, they sparked a huge backlash. Many people are calling her out, saying she's actually the one stirring up drama. It's like she threw a match into a powder keg, and now the whole basketball world is exploding with opinion. Think about it, Clark hasn't even played her first WNBA game yet, and she's already at the center of this storm. How's that for a welcome to the big leagues? It's gotta be tough for a rookie to hear a legend like Swoopes say something like that. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Some folks are wondering if there's more to this story. Is this just Swoopes being a hater, or is there some truth to what she's saying? Are veteran players really that wary of teaming up with Clark? This whole situation has ignited a pretty intense debate. On one side, you've got people defending Clark, saying she's a positive presence in the locker room. They're arguing that Swoopes is way off base. On the other side, well, let's just say not everyone's thrilled about all the attention Clark's getting. It's like we're watching a clash between the old guard and the new star. Swoopes represents the established WNBA culture, while Clark is the fresh face taking the league by storm. Is there room for both, or are we seeing the start of a generational divide in women's basketball? The impact of Swoopes' comments could be huge for Clark and the Indiana Fever. Imagine trying to build team chemistry with this kind of talk floating around. It's got to be awkward in the locker room, right? And what about Clark's confidence? She's been killing it on the court, but this kind of criticism from a legend could really get in her head. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's teammates aren't just sitting back and letting Swoopes' comments slide. They're stepping up and defending their rookie sensation. It's like they're forming a protective circle around her, telling the world, hey, we want to play with Caitlin. This whole controversy has opened up a can of worms about how veteran players view the rising stars in the WNBA. Are they supportive mentors? Or are they feeling threatened by the new talent? It's a question that's got everyone from fans to analysts talking. Forget what you've heard about drama in the WNBA. Clark's teammates are painting a completely different picture. But here's the real kicker. Their defense of the rookie star could be the key to unlocking the Fever's true potential this season. You know how sometimes a little drama can tear a team apart? Well, not this time. The Indiana Fever just flipped the script on everyone. Instead of letting Swoopes' comments cause chaos, they're using it as rocket fuel. It's like they've formed a human shield around Clark, and it's pretty awesome to see. Let's talk about Erica Wheeler for a second. She's not just any teammate. She's been in the league for a while and knows her stuff. When she speaks up, people listen. And boy, did she have something to say about Clark. Wheeler straight up said, "We are all grateful for what Caitlin brings to our team and how she has helped us pursue our dreams in the WNBA. That's not just a teammate backing up Clark, that's a veteran giving her stamp of approval." But it's not just Wheeler, the whole team is rallying behind Clark. It's like they're saying, "Hey Sheryl Swoopes, you don't know our girl like we do." And get this, they're not just defending her skills on the court, they're talking about what she brings to the locker room too.
Obviously, Caitlin Clark does play a big part of it. And she knows it, and she's embracing it in the best way possible. So Indiana definitely deserved the light that we give it, for sure. So yesterday I was on Twitter, and someone said that Indiana is the new Hollywood. So I thought it was pretty cool that people feel like Indiana, because when you think about Indiana, you think it's boring, it's nothing to do, but now everybody wants to be in Indiana.
Every single team in this league is really good, and that's what makes it so fun. And I think there's going to be a lot of new fans coming into the WNBA. There's already a lot of fans here, and just continuing to grow that and attract that and keep those fans will be super important.
Remember Lexie Hull from that viral video? She's got some inside scoop on Clark, and it's pretty cool. Hull says, "She loves to stir up some trouble, that's for sure. If you need a laugh, she'll get it done for you." Can you imagine? Here's this rookie superstar, and instead of being all serious and intense, she's cracking jokes and keeping things light. That's huge for team morale. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Fever aren't just talking about Clark being fun to be around. They're saying she's making them better players too. Hull dropped this bomb. She's creating a lot of shots. We get open looks because of how much attention she draws. Think about that for a second. Clark's not just scoring herself, she's making it easier for everyone else to score too. That's next level stuff. And it's not just about what happens during games. Hull talked about how their friendship off the court is making a difference when they're playing. She said, "I think even when I look back at our success at Stanford, a lot that came from really caring about each other and building those friendships off the court." So Clark isn't just a teammate, she's becoming a friend. And that's the kind of thing that can turn a good team into a great one. You've got to wonder what Swoopes is thinking now. She said players didn't want to team up with Clark, but it sounds like the exact opposite is happening. The Fever are all in on their rookie star, and they're not afraid to say it. It's like they're sending a message to the whole league. You mess with Clark, you mess with all of us. This whole situation is like a masterclass in team chemistry. Instead of letting outside criticism tear them apart, the Fever are using it to come together. They're not just defending Clark, they're showing the world what it means to be a real team. It's like they've taken all that negative energy and turned it into something positive. While the Fever are rallying around Clark, something unexpected is happening on the court. A new dynamic duo is emerging, and it's not who you might think. How is Caitlin Clark transforming her teammates' games? Let's talk about Lexie Hull for a second. Remember her from that viral video? Well, she's not just Clark's camera operator anymore. Hull just exploded on the court against the Seattle Storm, and it's got everyone talking. She dropped 22 points and hit 6 of 7 three-pointers. That's insane! You know what's even crazier? Clark's reaction to Hull's performance. She took to social media and declared, "This is now a Lexie Hull fan account." That's not just teammate support, that's next level hype. But here's the thing, Hull's breakout game isn't just a one-time fluke. Since the Olympic break, she's been on fire. We're talking second in the WNBA for three-point shooting percentage at 47.1%. That's not just good, that's elite level shooting. And it gets even better. Hull's not just hitting a few shots here and there. She's made 24 of 38 three-point attempts since the break. That's a mind-blowing 63.2% shooting percentage. You don't see numbers like that every day. So what's behind this surge? It's not just Hull stepping up her game, it's the Clark effect. Caitlin's playmaking ability is off the charts, and it's opening up opportunities for everyone else on the team. Hull's getting wide open looks because defenses are so focused on stopping Clark. Think about it. Clark draws so much attention that her teammates are getting more chances to shine. It's like she's got a gravitational pull on the court, and Hull's taking full advantage of it. But it's not just about the stats. Clark and Hull are developing some serious on-court chemistry. They're starting to read each other's moves, anticipate passes, and create scoring opportunities out of thin air. It's like watching two players who've been playing together for years, not just a few months. This dynamic duo is changing the game for the Fever. Clark's not just a scoring machine, she's making everyone around her better. And Hull? She's proving that she's more than just a role player. She's becoming a serious threat that other teams can't ignore. You've got to wonder what opposing coaches are thinking right now. They They came into the season worried about stopping Clark, but now they've got Hull to deal with too. It's like trying to plug one leak only to have another one burst open. This is exactly the kind of thing that can turn a good team into a great one. Clark and Hull aren't just playing well individually, they're elevating each other's games, and that's contagious. You can bet the rest of the Fever are watching and thinking, I want some of that too. All this excitement around Clark and Hull is great, but let's zoom out for a second. Where does this leave the Fever in the big picture? Their current position in the league has fans holding their breath, wondering if this could be the year everything changes. The Indiana Fever are sitting pretty at the 7th seed with a 15-16 record. That might not sound impressive, but for the Fever, it's huge. They haven't sniffed the playoffs since 2016. Now, they're knocking on the door of postseason play, and it's got everyone talking. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. This rookie is putting up numbers that are just mind-blowing. We're talking 497 points, 232 assists, and 161 rebounds. That's not just good. That's frontrunner for Rookie of the Year good. And get this, she's already broken a WNBA record. Clark nailed 86 three-pointers, smashing the previous rookie record. That's the kind of performance that changes a team's fortunes. But Clark isn't the only one making wave. Remember Lexie Hull? She just had a game that's got everyone buzzing. Against the Seattle Storm, Hull went off for 22 points, hitting 6 of 7 three-pointers. That's the kind of sharpshooting that wins games and turns seasons around. The Fever are on a roll right now, winning 9 of their last 13 games. It's like they've flipped a switch. Early in the season, they were struggling. Now, they're looking like a team that could make some serious noise in the playoffs. You know what's really cool about this turnaround? It's not just about the stat. Clark talked about how important confidence is for the team. She said, confidence is everything. The more we've had of that, the better we've been. But playoffs is our goal. That's the kind of attitude that turns good teams into great ones. Think about where the Fever were at the start of the season. They were struggling, trying to find their identity. Now, they're pushing for a playoff spot. That's not just a little improvement. That's a complete transformation. And a lot of it comes down to the energy and skill that Clark and Hull are bringing to the court. But here's the thing. Making the playoffs isn't going to be easy. The Fever are right on the bubble. Every game counts from here on out. They can't afford to slip up, not with other teams breathing down their necks. So what's it going to take for the Fever to lock in that playoff spot? It's all about consistency. They've shown they can beat good teams. Now they need to do it night in and night out. Clark needs to keep putting up those crazy numbers. Hull needs to keep knocking down those threes. And the rest of the team, they need to feed off that energy and step up their game too. If the Fever can keep this momentum going, they might just shock the WNBA. Making the playoffs after such a long drought would be huge. It would show that all the rebuilding, all the tough seasons were worth it. And for Clark and Hull, it would be one heck of a way to kick off their WNBA careers. Wow, what a journey for Caitlin Clark. From that hilarious viral video to all the drama with Sheryl Swoopes. It's been a wild ride. But you know what's really cool? How her teammates stood up for her. That's the kind of support that can make a rookie into a superstar. And on the court, Clark's not just playing well, she's making everyone around her better. Just look at Lexie Hull's incredible performance. These two are like a dynamic duo, taking the Fever from underdogs to playoff contenders. But here's the big question. What's next for Clark? She's already breaking records and changing the game. Will she be remembered as one of the greatest players ever? Or could she end up in the commentary booth, cracking jokes and analyzing plays? Maybe both. One thing's for sure, the WNBA will never be the same with Caitlin Clark around.